Welcome to the Gray Area Podcast presented by Mint Mobile. My name is Kevin Gray. Thanks for listening today. Appreciate you joining me here on the podcast, wherever you get your podcast for free. Give it a 5-star rating, write a review for it while you're there. You can also watch this video on my YouTube channel at Kevin Gray Sports. Make sure you like and comment on the video as well. And you can follow me on Twitter at Kevin Gray Sports. It is Interview Wednesdays here on the Gray Area Podcast. It's draft season as well. And I thought I couldn't think of anybody better to bring in because I'm finally to the point where I can start kind of wrapping my mind around the fact that it's the NFL Combine. The NFL Draft is in April, and football season never stops, really. So, of course, I had to bring in my guy from the Volume Sports. You can find him on Twitter at Voch Lombardi, host extraordinaire, NFL draft analyst, NFL analyst, period. My man Voch Lombardi be joining me on the Gray Area. Voch, what's going on?
Man, KJ, you can name 5 to 6 people better than me that you can bring on this, but I'm standing tall at 7. You ain't gonna find 8, 9, and 10 people better than me, but you can find a smooth 6 of them. But humbly, I appreciate you for thinking that way of me, and thanks for having me back, man. Let's do this.
Well, I appreciate you hanging out with me because we were talking before we got on here because, you know, the NFL season never ends and it never stops. And now we're, of course, fully into the off season. The NFL new league year begins here in a couple of weeks, and we'll get into some of the Cowboys decisions that they got to make. But I always find it fascinating. I want to get your perspective on this because we got the NFL Combine this week and, of course, the NFL Draft coming up later on in April. And I'm one of the ones, maybe one of the few out there, I feel like this NFL draft thing needs to go away. Let these cats, after all the hard work that they put in their careers, let them go pick and choose where they want to go. If you and I can go pick a job and go sign wherever we want to, why do I got to be forced into a situation where I may not necessarily want to go, and let these cats go pick where they want to play? Maybe that's just me. I don't know how you feel about it. Where your thoughts are when it comes to the NFL draft and the fact that we still do this these days.
I think the good thing about the draft is that, I think that it's a good thing that the Lions can be terrible their whole life, but then just out of nowhere, you make a few changes in your administration, and all of a sudden, you not only draft well, but the past 2 draft classes are helping you right this second. The Lions are dudes now, right? You just see these teams going through major change, and you just can't be like, all right, y'all, just play wherever you want to play, because then it'll be like 5 superpowers, right? And people, that may watch basketball or whatever. I'm not a basketball guy, but I just hear things on the outside, right? They may complain about the same 3 or 4 or 5 superpowers. You know what I'm saying? You want this whole parity thing that they always talk about in the league, and I think parity is a good thing. You know what I mean? And I think I'm a nerdy kind of anime dude or whatever, right? So I kind of look at team building like I would look at an RPG video game, right? Like you have things that you're good at, the things that you want to be good at. Now you have to put your equipment into that stat, right? If I want to be an archer, I need to be equipped with bows and arrows, right? I can't carry a sword if I'm an archer. You see what I'm saying? So what happens with draft is I have a team with a culture. I have how we want to run things here. I have how I want my offense to look, how I want my defense to look, right? I think it's so dope that, hey, I'm a team that values the run game. There's some offensive linemen that are good at run, that are bad at pass. I'm going to get the dudes that are good run blockers because they're going to fit what we do. I don't want the dude that's good at pass and be like, hey, I want to play for you. I want you to play for me. I want the guys that I want, right? And how the contracts are set up. Hey, if I don't like you in 5 years, we could just break up. Real life relationships should be like that. There should be a 5th-year option in relationships, right? In real life, right? We have the option at the end of 4 to 5 years, be like, all right, I just want to break up because this whole me playing for you thing ain't gonna work. Bijan Robinson at the end of his tenure be like, hey, they just won't give me the ball. They just keep giving the ball to Cordero Patterson. At the end of my contract, I'm leaving. You see what I'm saying? So I just like the idea that, these teams and these GMs and these coaches, front offices, they're gonna go, all right, this is kind of dude I want, these kind of players I want. And it's 32 different entities, it's 32 different RPG video games going on at the same time, and they're all different. And they get to pick their guy. And I just like the idea that the Browns can be good out of nowhere, that the Lions can be good out of nowhere after being horrifically garbage for a long time. So
I just like the idea of the wild, wild west of these guys being able to pick and choose where they want to go. And look, I definitely get the idea because I feel like in some ways a team should not be rewarded for being bad all the time with the number one pick and then be able to find a way to get better year after year. But you're right, the league is better with the parity that we've seen in today's NFL. And it feels like from year to year now, at least as we get deeper and deeper into seasons, 14, 15, 16 teams realistically have a shot of making the playoffs. Maybe not all of them having a realistic chance, Patrick Mahomes, of winning the Super Bowl. But at the same time, there's a lot of teams that do have the opportunity to get better rather quickly. I just like the idea of chaos and the idea that if Caleb Williams looked around at his situation and said, you know what, I don't want to play for Chicago. I want to go sign with, I don't know, whomever, and I get to choose my own destiny and be able to make it happen from there. Maybe a little bit of that sprinkled in would be a little more for my fancy, I guess.
But this is my whole thing about chaos, though, right? There's nothing, you say you love chaos. There's nothing more chaotic than people struggling with accountability and people struggling with, you know, things that's out of their control or whatever, or just making their own mistakes, right? So there's no, like, the Carolina Panthers are terrible, okay? You don't want them to have the excuse of, hey, man, nobody wants to sign us. Nobody wants to come play for Carolina. If that's your excuse, you get to be terrible your whole life. And at the end of the day, hey, man, nobody wants to play in Carolina, right? Mm-hmm. But if we just see a whole bunch of freezing cold takes, retweets, or we see your owner and GM going, hey, man, we love Bryce Young. Bryce Young's the best quarterback in the draft. We're going to rock with him. And then CJ Stroud carries Nico Collins and freaking Dalton Schultz and all these characters and Devin Singletary, all these players that nobody else want because that ain't chaos to you. That's the best kind of chaos. The fact that, hey man, not only did we choose Bryce Young, but we gave up picks to go get him. So now you got Bryce Young and you ain't got no picks. You just you missed. It's all in your hands, player. I love chaos.
Here's what you got to something that I firmly believe in, and kudos to the Texans, which I don't necessarily do all that often, but I mean they did it. I mean they got CJ Stroud, they went and got Will Anderson, and they found two cornerstones now for their franchise, what appears to be for the next decade. And we know how good CJ Stroud was, but this gets to one of my biggest beliefs when it comes to this time of the year for any NFL team, and it's why I don't punish and talk bad about teams when they go get their guy. If you feel like that your guy is at the number one spot, number two spot, wherever the case may be, I'm talking about quarterback here, you move heaven and earth to go get that guy, because if you hit, you are set up for the next 15 years for your franchise. And if you don't, well, guess what? You get to take some more swings at it because you'll probably be bad enough to be in a position to try to find another one. But I never have bashed teams for moving what they've needed to move to feel like they needed to go get their guy, because when it works, Patrick Mahomes, whoever you want to name, when it works because the QB position is so valuable these days. It's funny that we're talking about Caleb Williams to start off with. The QB position is so valuable that, yeah, you do what you got to do to go get your guy. And if it works, guess what? Now you've got stability for your franchise for the next decade and a half.
It's valuable, but it's also volatile. Quarterback is the only position that we have no clue how to evaluate it. We don't know what we're doing. And I wish people would just come out and say that, right? I think we have a pretty good hold on every position. I just want Brugler, Jeremiah, Kuiper, Bucky. I just want all the Vice Lombardi, Brian Brown. I just want all these characters to just come out in public and say, hey, man, we have no clue what we're doing with the quarterback position. So we're just going to take the dude that we think is the best. We're just going to cross our fingers and hope. You know, there's going to be many people that say, oh, you can stumble across a Dak Prescott. You can stumble across a Russell Wilson. You can stumble across a Drew Brees, some day 2, day 3 character that's, you know what I mean? But boy, for every Brock Purdy, it's 1,000 Taj boys that'll never be good for you. You understand?
Respectfully.
We have no clue what we doing. We have no idea what's happening right now. You know, you could be like, all right, Mr. Trubisky. I think that same way about Drake May. You know, no, you know what I'm saying? I ain't just talking about this is just Carolina. I ain't saying the same person. But man, you know, you could be excited about this whole Will Levis, about this whole Mac Jones, like those type of dudes that, hey man, we've seen them play well, but you're kind of talking yourself into it. You shouldn't have to talk yourself into good quarterbacking. You know what I'm saying? If these dudes aren't dudes, just move away from them, right? Like if it's not, you can see traits in Josh Allen, right? He couldn't hit the slants earlier. He couldn't hit the easy layups. He'll overthrow the 5-yard routes, but he'll hit the deep corner post in the back of the end zone right for the like he'll do those ridiculous throws, but you could see it in him. You could see it in Pat. You could see it in Justin Fields. I think they may be mistaken on, since we're talking about Bears a little bit. You can see it in Caleb Williams. You can see it in Jalen Daniels. You hear people try to talk themselves into Drake May or whatever, right? So if there's any takeaway that I have from this, the people that you got to try to talk yourself into, Mac Jones and them dudes typically aren't dudes that end up that great. Will Levis, you're gonna talk yourself into Will Levis for what?
But again, that just speaks to how much the position is valued and what teams are willing to do to try to find that guy. Because here's the thing, and you know this better than anybody. Great quarterback play is scarce. It is and it's very difficult to find. And all of these teams, when they know that the important position is quarterback, they will find what they believe is their guy. And most times you're going to miss. But when you do, you find yourself with a CJ Stroud. You find yourself with a Patrick Mahomes. You find yourself, look, if they were really good at this, Tom Brady would have been the number 1 overall pick a bazillion years ago, and we wouldn't even be talking about Tom Brady with the New England Patriots. Like that is as you mentioned, the volatility of the position and how I know teams are. Here's 2 things that NFL teams aren't good at. They're not good at finding NFL head coaches, and they're not good at finding NFL quarterbacks. Because if they were, we would see a lot more stability with franchises in the quarterback head coach relationship, which I'm sure you believe too is the most valuable relationship in professional football these days.
Which is why people need to shut their mouth about Dak Prescott. Honestly, you go up and down. I'm not gonna cap and act like fans. Like I'm sick of fans. Like, you know what I mean? Oh, the fans are the best part of the sport, man. Our team would be nothing without y'all goofy as hell. Because look, there are people that exist on this internet, on Al Green's internet, on Beyonce's internet, that'll look at Dak Prescott finish in the top 2 really of the MVP race. Top 2. And be like, hey, man, we need to try to find somebody better than this. How are you getting better than... How? I beg of you.
Yeah.
Por favor. How do you say please in French? Please show me how you going to get better. Because in real life, coaching is what matters the most. And I don't like the Joneses coming out trying to act like this Dak Prescott. Just give him his money, quit playing. You know what I mean? Like seal the deal in your quarterback. If anything, when teams look for a quarterback, you're really looking for a dude that's good enough to win you games. That's really what you're looking for. Everything else is like peripheral building, right? So if you have a Kirk Cousins that can throw for 4,500 yards, 31 some odd touchdowns, he could take you to a wild card game. You have a quarterback that can do that for you.
Yes.
Now you build a supporting cast that can get him to the division, get him to the conference, get him to the Super Bowl. Case Keenum, since we're talking about Mike Zimmer, that Case Keenum team, it wasn't Case Keenum just being ridiculous. It was Diggs being ridiculous, Stephon Diggs being ridiculous, and it was a top 5 Mike Zimmer defense. I'm not saying Case Keenum is a franchise quarterback, but the furniture of that team put him there. So if you have a quarterback, we always talk about this, KG, what they say. They say, win a Super Bowl, you need a run game and a defense that travels.
Yes.
We got an MVP quarterback, but we can't run the football and we can't travel on defense. We can't even play defense at home the way it looked like, KG. We can't play defense at home. So what I have to say about the Dak Prescott critics and detractors, what I got to say about them is, okay, you always say defense wins championships. Run game wins championships because you winning in the regular season, winning the playoffs is different. Pat Mahomes can come out here and win a Super Bowl where he throws for 280 some yards, or he'll win another Super Bowl where he throws for like 218. But the run game and situational awareness works. You take one of the best offenses in San Fran 49ers. I can't stand them. I ain't like saying that. But you hold that offense to less than 30. How come we can't do that for Dak Prescott? Why not?
Oh boy. I mean, well, look, you're speaking to the biggest difference, I think, at least in this example here. And I think before I go there, one of the things that I think will be overshadowed, especially for this Chiefs team that won this Super Bowl, obviously Patrick Mahomes is the Michael Jordan of the NFL right now. But damn it, when you go back and look at that defense, we're looking at one of the more historic defenses to have ever played in the NFL. Like, this is a team that gave up, 15, 16 points per game this year. They held San Francisco to 22 points, or I should say 19 points in regulation. Like, we're talking about a historic defense that was good all season long. And on the way, and this is the part that blows my mind, on the way to that Super Bowl, they take out Tua Tagovailoa, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson on the way to winning that Super Bowl. And then, of course, Kyle Shanahan finds out, hey, Brock Purdy, you're really good, and you got a really supporting cast. We just can't overcome this thing called the Chiefs defense and Patrick Mahomes put together and try to win a Super Bowl. We just couldn't do it this time around.
I mean, that's the formula, defense is back. All the analytic nerds, John Park having a fit right now because defense is back. Defense is back. And when you look at these teams, man, they have invested in offensive line. They've invested in defense, things that the Cowboys have had challenges with, So I know we're talking about draft and all that. But for the Dak critic or whatever, man, let's trade Dak Prescott for 3 first-round picks. If you can get 3 first-round picks for a quarterback, you probably shouldn't move him.
You should probably keep him. Yes, you should probably keep him.
You probably should hold on to him. So this whole get picks for Dak, that's negligent to me. I'd rather just keep the picks I got and try to help what he's doing. Just help what Cowboys are trying to do. Get him a run game. That everything. Look, say what you want to, but he did all this with no run game. Drew Brees always had a run game. Peyton Manning always had a run game. Tom Brady always had a run game. It may have been 6 running backs, but Tom Brady always had a run game. You don't know who was going to go crazy. You don't know if Woodhead was going to step in and go crazy. You don't know. They always had dudes. Meanwhile, we got 3 all-pros on the offensive line that can't block nobody. Ain't that crazy?
Oh, my
man. One day we'll talk about it. One day we'll figure out run game in here, get a little tandem going, and not spend $10 million on the running back and say like everybody. This is cool. We'll figure it out. One day get that. We'll get that and run. And maybe I'll say this, we can move on. If you think about the Super Bowl and the defense that the Chiefs played, right? Defense is really there to buy you time.
Yes.
Right? Defense wins championships because they're there to buy you time. If you every team in this playoff this year, I'm just trying to think of all the games, maybe like 1 game different, 2 games different, but their offenses all started off goofy for a little bit. Mm-hmm. They all had this period of figuring it out. We're measuring each other. We're 3 and outing. We're just punting the football a whole bunch, right? We're trying to figure this out. But the defense bought us time to do that. If you think about the Super Bowl, the 49ers were having success on offense, but just the Chiefs made plays and they, took that away from them, right? Could you imagine if coming into the third quarter, the 49ers are up on the Chiefs 27-6 or 27 or whatever, and then Pat goes out and throws an additional interception in the third quarter. Like as soon as they come out there, he throws another team immediately. But the Chiefs defense is built to buy Pat some more time. Yes. And once they bought that Chiefs offense more time, they was like, all right, cool. We can move the ball consecutively now. On consecutive drives, we're moving the ball now. I have not seen a situation where Dak Prescott has been afforded the luxury of starting slow. That was even a narrative 2 years ago, right? Oh, we're slow starters. Hindsight, 31-year-old Voch looking back on it, ain't nothing wrong with a slow start. I mean, good. Oh, we put up 35 points in the second half, but we started slow. Okay, cool. As long as we ain't blown out by the second half, starting slow may be okay. Because Pat started slow, Jared Goff started slow, Brock Purdy and them started slow. They all started slow. The Eagles are just bad, but everybody started. Lamar Jackson starts slow all year.
Yes.
It'd be a good 14-13 in the first half. They go, man, what we gonna do? Second half, explosion, because your defense bought you time. We don't have a defense that buys us time. We have a defense that sits on the sideline and cross their fingers that Dak can score first. And if we score first, then we can go and pass rush and catch interception. But boy, if you run the football, what happens? Green Bay,
right?
Buffalo, San Francisco, partially Miami. I mean, defense stepped up at the end. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Seattle, Defense stepped up at the end, 42
Right.
Dak, like, I beg of you, please, por favor. How you say please in French? How you say please in German? I don't know, man. I hope Mike Zimmer can just slow things down a little bit for the opposite side and buy this offense some time. That's all.
Speaking of the Cowboys, obviously they're always going to be a topic of conversation. You and I cover and talk about this team on a daily basis, it feels like. And now that we're into draft season, I finally have wrapped around my mind around the idea, okay, the NFL season's over with. The Cowboys got to make some improvements. And we start really, look, my concerns, and look, this will be kind of a multifaceted discussion, because when you're talking about this team in terms of the draft and what they need, it also informs you on what they're looking at, maybe what to do in free agency this year as well. And the biggest thing they've got to get done, not necessarily that he's a free agent, but obviously with the salary cap having exploded, Dak Prescott is in line to get a massive contract extension. CeeDee Lamb, same thing. Micah Parsons, I think is also in line to get a massive contract extension. And before I go there, real quick, I want to get your thought on this, because I feel like if David Mulligetta is doing his job, I'm talking about the age of Micah Parsons, he would not let Micah Parsons play another down on the current contract that he is currently on right now. Even if Micah goes to David and says, hey, look, let's just wait for another year. Or if the Cowboys are, look, we'll wait another year. We know we've got your fifth-year option coming up. If I'm Mulligetta, no, we're not playing another down on this contract that we're currently on in our rookie deal right now. Would you feel the same way?
I think the salary cap fake anyway.
Well, that's true too. Yes,
salary cap is like a rough line to just toe yourself on, right? But there's so many gymnastics that they do now. All right, Micah. Yes. So this is what we're gonna do. We just gonna extend you, but we're gonna keep you cheap for these 2 years. But your big money is gonna come in 2027.
That's right.
Right. So new player. All right. So Chris Jones, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna sign for 3 years, and all your money is gonna hit while Micah's cheap. While Micah's expensive, that's when you're gonna run out of guaranteed money. Sorry. Mm-hmm. There's also a button I can hit that push CeeDee Lamb's money to 2029. I'm gonna hit that same button on Trey Diggs and Dak Prescott and whoever character, right? Yeah. Tyler Smith is gonna need some money. All right, cool. So I'm gonna pay you when Zach Martin ain't here. So when Zach Martin's money run out, I'm just gonna take that Zach Martin money, but I'm gonna divvy it up and put a little bit there. You can run gymnastics, and I'm no accountant. Yes. I hate numbers. I don't know how to work a calculator. I can't even color inside the lines, but I can tell you how a lot of this stuff works, though, KG. So there shouldn't be any discrepancy about paying Micah or paying Dak or paying CeeDee. Because if you really who you are, Micah Parsons, right? This is what I loved about Dak 2 years ago. Dak was having his contract situation, but Dak still came to practice. Dak didn't sit out. I love that about him, right? Because look, they probably looked at that. Yo, Dak, why you still practicing? They owe you money. Ain't you scared something gonna happen? And Dak basically, I wish one of these characters would. I'm coming to practice.
My man got a new deal on one leg. People forget that cat had a one-legged. He was one-legged and out there with a broken ankle. And the cat was like, "Yeah, here go your record. $160 million. Here you go."
Dak is fine. Dak is fine. Like if you let's see like a better example. Like if you Sam Williams, you should maybe try to ask for some money. Like Oso Digizua. How about this? If you're Oso Digizua, I think it'll benefit him to try to get some money right now. It'll benefit him to get some money right now so that we're not wrestling in the offseason. Hey, just give me some bread and, it'll be helpful for your side and helpful for my side, right? If I'm Micah Parsons, I may not even want my money right now because I'm Micah Parsons. I know I'm about to be good. Yeah. Micah's leg can fall off. They're going to find some surgeon to put that mug back on and I'm going to be good. So instead of Micah making $25 million, I'm going to wait till that salary cap go up a couple more times. And now pass rushers make 50. Yeah. Now I'm ready. What you say now, Chuck? What you say the salary cap went up how many? Now I'm ready. So I don't even think Micah should rush because injury doesn't affect him. If Osa gets hurt, then we probably just gonna draft a 3-tech and move on and figure it out. Mike ain't going nowhere. Yeah. Diggs ain't going nowhere. Lamb ain't going nowhere.
So with that being said, let's look at what this team needs. And one of the things that it's funny because Stephen Jones was talking to the media on Tuesday at the Combine, And, they asked him a series of questions about, Micah and CD and Dak's contract extensions, yada, yada, yada. But one of the things that struck me interesting, he said, what about Leighton Vander Esch? And he's like, well, we'll probably let Leighton speak to that. To which in my mind, I was like, no, wait a minute now. That don't sound like Leighton is coming back, period. It sounds like my man's career may be, and I'm not trying to speculate here, but it sounds like based on what he's been dealing with over the course of his career, like Leighton Vander Esch may not be coming back at all. So linebacker, hello, Damone Clark. You're the one healthy linebacker that didn't get hurt in 2023, even though we expect guys like Demarion Overshown to come back and hopefully be, pretty good coming off the torn ACL. They need a linebacker, and they need one, maybe two, if one in the draft and one in free agency. What does the needs of this team look like based off of what you've seen so far?
They need 5 linebackers because somebody got to play kickoff. Somebody, somebody got to be there in case something bad happens, So this is probably Vander Esch's swan song or whatever. Shouts out to him, man. You did your time. Salute to you. But just looking at it, Leighton Vander Esch was probably gone. Marquise Bell's going to move back to safety. If I had to guess, Mike Zimmer finna play around with no. You know what I mean? Then there is Overshown, in which we could have conversations about him at some point, and Tyrus Wheat. I'm a fan of his last year. He was an Alabama player, undrafted free agent. He's listed as linebacker, but he's more of a pass rusher. But Damone Clark is your last true linebacker. And I don't think he fits as a Zimmer guy because I think his vision can get a little wonky. Now, he sees it really well if Vander Esch is there saying go there. If Vander Esch on the field saying go there, then yeah, Damone Clark can play some good linebacker for you. But when he's the guy that's got to tell Marquise Bell what to do, then they both can look a little lost sometimes, Yeah, so I don't think Damone Clark, he's a part of the linebacker plan. But Dan Quinn's gone. Quinn is gone, and that's what I'm probably going to like about the Zimmer administration is that there's no ties to this roster. So if you can play, you will play. If you are a veteran that probably got stripes and tenure and seniority here, but you can't play, Mike Zimmer's probably not going to care because he didn't build this seniority with you, so you out of here. So what this is probably going to look like is there's going to be a veteran free agent that Zimmer likes. There's going to be another free agent that costs $38. We're probably going to draft a linebacker in the second round because that makes sense. I think it'll be smart to get another linebacker in the 7th round. And then there's probably going to be another linebacker as far as like undrafted free agency or whatever. So the linebacker is an issue. Yeah, linebacker is an issue, and Zimmer do not play that at all. And that's the big blinking light right now. And, in draft world, Cowboy fans are having a conversation about, who are we looking to draft in the first or second rounds or whatever. We're talking about center, we're talking about wide receiver and all these other guys. I'm like, hey, that's cool. Linebacker is an emergency right now. You may not like Michael Gallup, but we got receivers. You know what I'm saying? Tyler Biadasz is gone, and yeah, you may not feel as confident about TJ Bass, but you at least have TJ Bass and Brock Hoffman to play center for you. We don't have a soul playing linebacker right now. Like, ain't even on the Overshown still hurt, right? Like, he's got to go through his, we don't know what that's gonna look like. He may be playing safety. Yeah. We don't know. So linebacker is a grave danger, a deep emergency that we need to look into and make sure that it's not just putting a Band-Aid on a pothole. You know what I'm saying? Because hey, we lose Amari Cooper. How do we fix that? James Washington.
Hey man, don't.
Shout out to James Washington. But
oh man,
I'm good. So we're having cornerback issues. All right, Daryl Worley. Nolan Carroll.
You're doing a lot right now because these names, Cowboys fans will listen to this like, hey man, why are you bringing up these names? Washington. I remember Daryl Worley. He was a training camp hero. He was balling in training camp. It was like, oh, Daryl Worley maybe got some. Didn't do a damn thing for the Cowboys.
So I just hope they don't just start off with the $38 a year veteran. You know what I'm saying? At least get Eric Kendricks. Former Viking, former Charger, whatnot, familiar with Zimmer and his scheme. And I think that's going to be important. Like, who can step in and run my scheme? Then you get another veteran that costs $38 that we never heard of before. And he could just, Mark and Zacha type characters. One of them.
What happened to that whole Rashaan Evans experience? What happened to all that? That was the $38 linebacker they brought in last season.
Somebody must don't like him personally. because we had linebacker issues the whole year, and he still couldn't get play time. He can't be
nothing.
So I don't know what happened to him, but he's not coming back. He's not coming.
Some of the names that, as the combine is underway, that we've started to hear that the Cowboys have had formal meetings with: Edgerrin Cooper, the talented linebacker from Texas A&M, consensus top linebacker in this year's NFL draft in your mind, or is there someone else?
Edgerrin Cooper's incredible. He's impressive. I think he is a rangy player, lengthy player, 6'3", long arms, things like that. A very doggish player, sees it in front of him, man. You know, when we talk about linebackers, you have to figure out what you like in linebackers. Some people like the super athletic linebacker. Some people like the processing linebacker. I like a little mixture of both. I don't like my linebackers getting lost, and Edgerrin Cooper's not a guy that get lost very much, and he's pretty damn good in man coverage also. You know, he has the limbs and the athleticism to do it. I love him to pieces. Big fan of him. He may be consensus linebacker 1, but he may be that way because there's this other linebacker, Peyton Wilson, North Carolina State. I don't like to throw Sean Lee around, but he's like one of those type of characters, right? He's the mental processing dude. He's the runaround guy. He's the high effort dude, the zone coverage, the diagnostics communicator guy. But he can also get you about 8 sacks. Edgerrin Cooper's the same kind of way. He's another linebacker that can get you like 8, 9, 10 sacks or whatever, right? The thing about Peyton Wilson is that he's injured guy. He has like double digit surgeries. Like he's been hurt a bunch. But here's my point though. Here's my thing.
Sound like you fit the profile of a Cowboy linebacker. Sounds like
this is where it's different, right? His injuries happen like those surgeries were like 2 years ago. So he's played 2 full seasons of football with no injuries. I guess the surgery worked. You know what I mean? Shouts out my guy Will Steele, man. We just talked about this. The surgery worked. There are some players that are coming off of ACLs that you're putting a lot of faith into. ACLs this year that you're putting a lot of hope and faith into. Peyton Wilson
Cooper,
was
running back. Yeah.
Peyton Wilson has played 2 full seasons with no injury or no lingering concerns. So if he's 100%, he's linebacker 1 and he goes in the first round. That's just my personal opinion. I got some film if you want. I don't know if that's what you want to do on your show because it's your show, but I got film I can just pull up just so you can get an idea.
Pull up the film, Vibes. Pull up the film, damn it. Let's see it here.
Man, we ain't doing nothing else. Let me just go to because that's something else I wanted to do too, man. I'm being motivated by my draft peers. They always have a lot of stuff at the ready. Whenever they talk to people, they just got stuff at the ready. I want to be the dude.
I can't wait for this. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be bad for the podcast portion of this, but this is gonna be great for the video portion of this.
Hey, you know, they should listen. They should finish listening on the podcast, and then they should come back and find us on the YouTube version. You should see a little button down there. You see me right there. Go ahead and pull it up. So I'll just run this. So Peyton Wilson, right? He lines up everywhere, and he's one of these. I see it, and I'm quickly getting downhill, guys. Right? He's not going to false step. He's not going to linger. He's not getting caught up in the mess and the window dressing because he's diagnostic. He's diagnostics guy, right? Very aggressive, high effort. And he's one of those dudes to where you remember when we were talking about like, oh, well, Rolando McClain wasn't good this game because Sean Lee wasn't there. But when Sean Lee comes back, magically the whole defense just gets better. I think that Peyton Wilson's another one of those dudes also. High effort play right here. He's another one of those dudes also to where he's like, hey, North Carolina State linebacker that we're not talking about. And hey, D lineman down there, look out for the counter. Look out for the draw. Look out for the screen. Then he lines up on the line of scrimmage sometimes. You just see it right here. He actually has some bend. He actually has some technique, some type of hand fighting with his pass rush abilities, right? So I'm just looking at him affecting the play. Another high effort play right here. I'm just looking at him affecting the play, and I go, man, why aren't we talking about Peyton Wilson right now? And it's like, okay, ACL and a pinky toe and a shoulder and this and that. But that was back in 2020. He's a 5-year guy, right? So the whole COVID thing, they gave him a whole nother year. He's one of those dudes. So the injury was a while ago. But 2023, 2022, he's just been a savage for 2 years, like 132 tackles or something crazy, ridiculous by himself. So I'm looking at Peyton Wilson, man. I'm just like, man, what I got to do to get this dude? And he's hurt guy. So I would much rather get him at a discount. Look at this right here, KG. Just this. He's not just floating around in coverage. I'm pointing, communicating. I'm working to a target. You're off that target. Let me work to another target. Take him away from you, right? He's an overall stress for the defense. I mean, pardon me. He's an overall stress giver for the offense. So I'm just up here like, man, if he wasn't hurt, I'd take him in the first round. He's going to be available in the third round, but teams aren't going to want him to get to the fourth round, so somebody will take him in the third. If you ask me right now, yo, Voch, would you take the injured concern Peyton Wilson from North Carolina State? I'll look at you and be like, it's not an injury concern because he just played 2 years in a row. Sign me up. Let's get Peyton Wilson.
The surgery worked.
The surgery worked. Let's quit playing. And Mike Zimmer should be happy with the linebacker, but Cowboys love those hurt guys in the second round, so we'll see.
Right, exactly. Let's take a quick break here on the Gray Area Podcast as let's hear from today's video partner, Mint Mobile. Today's video partner is Mint Mobile. Have you ever thought, why in the world is my wireless bill so high? What am I actually paying for? Speed, data, coverage, access to 5G, mobile hotspots, unlimited talk and text? What am I actually getting for all of this? Mint Mobile offers all these features for as low as $15 a month, and that's why I've partnered with Mint Mobile. They reimagined the wireless shopping experience and made it easy and online. No stores, no salespeople, just huge direct-to-you savings. Why should you pay more than you have to for access to premium wireless? Mint Mobile runs on the nation's largest 5G network. Go to mintmobile.com, also linked in my description, to get premium wireless for $15 a month. Switching to Mint is super easy. Thanks to digital eSIM cards, which most phones now have, you can sign up and activate immediately right on your phone from the comfort of your own home. If your phone doesn't have an eSIM, Mint will ship you a new SIM card for free. Big Wireless wants you to think that they're the only option. Don't be duped. Go to mintmobile.com/Kevin Gray, also linked in my description, to stop paying more than what you have to for your phone plan.
Hey there, it's Ryan Reynolds, owner of Mint Mobile. Enticing, right?
Back here on the Gray Area Podcast with Voch Lombardi of the Volume and Volume Sports. What's going on? What happened?
Here we go. Ryan Fowler tweeting from the combine here. He says, North Carolina State linebacker Peyton Wilson. Talent and speed can only take you so far. Football IQ separates guys. That's what I've been talking about, man. KJ. That's what I've been saying, man. Shouts out to Mint Mobile, man. But I just had to check Twitter, and lo and behold, Peyton Wilson just sitting on my screen there, man. So I just give you an idea. What you think, though, KJ? What you think about the play?
I like him. He clearly fits the profile in more ways than one for a Cowboys linebacker. So hopefully, if you're watching this or listening, you can catch my drift and know exactly what I'm talking about. But at the same time, I guess for me, I'm looking at for Mike Zimmer, because this is all in the context of this defense. Again, offensively, they got decisions to make. Running back, by the way, real quick, running back market, I feel terrible for them because Saquon, Josh Jacobs, Derrick Henry, all these cats looking around like, damn, running back market just ain't what it used to be anymore. Tony Pollard, same way. We got to figure out what we're going to do. But I think it's more so, are you on the train of this is a defensive draft when you're looking at the first couple of rounds for this team, especially what they need to do maybe to solidify the offensive line, but more so I think on the defensive side of the ball is where they need to focus their efforts. Where are you in terms of what this draft profile should look like for the Cowboys this year?
On your first point, I think the Cowboys have learned their lesson about running backs. I don't think they're ever going to pay a running back like money for real, and I don't think they're going to be franchising running backs anymore because it just didn't seem to work out. Like they got like Tony Pollard got tagged for like $10 million, and then like David Montgomery went to the Lions for like 4.5 or something crazy.
Exactly.
Like so yeah, I don't think the Cowboys want to get finessed in that way anymore, unless Saquon costs $5, then we could talk about it. But the Cowboys, how I would like them to attack this is I would rather the free agents come from defense. I would like players that are already established in the league, that are already used to the pace of the league and the learning curve of the league, because Zimmer's going to need dudes that are experienced in that. He's going to need people that can communicate and process, like veteran type cats. there's a learning curve to what he does on defense in particular, and these young guys, right? So what I would love on offense, I would love for us to draft some of these help me now guys, because you have your core already on offense. You got Dak, you got Lamb, and you have this offensive line with 3 all pros on it, right? So if I'm in the draft, I'm not just looking straight defense. Like, we're looking at center. Jackson Powers Johnson is a name that's been, going around a bunch. Graham Barton is another center. Zach Frazier, he's another center that can go around, right? So my idea for draft, can I fix my run game with the draft? Let's go find some D tackles, free agency, right? Let's go find the free agent linebackers and the free agent safety depth guys. Let's add another, nickel corner, somebody that knows Zimmer's defense. Probably somebody, Mac Alexander that was just here in Dallas a little bit ago with Dan Quinn 2 years ago. He's a Zimmer guy. He knows that system already. Give me some of these older characters. But for offense, you're not going to find offensive linemen that are on the market. Offense, you're not going to find cheap wide receiver help on this market. You're not going to find, like, who's giving away the centers? Who's giving away the offensive line? Who's giving away the offensive tackles, right?
Yeah,
so
nobody.
With the draft, what's good about the draft is a rookie center can help you right now. A rookie running back can help you right now. A rookie wide receiver can help you right now, because he gets to just come in behind Tolbert and just learn and do his whole thing, whatever. No pressure on that, wide receiver if we were to go that way. But you don't want the rookie corner to come in with all that pressure, or the rookie linebacker to come in with all that pressure. You want, if you do get a young linebacker, Peyton Wilson, Edgerrin Cooper, whoever, you want them to learn behind Eric Kendricks, or to learn behind whoever this veteran linebacker, I'm not good at his name, Tennessee linebacker, right?
Yeah, that guy. Yep.
Whoever this veteran linebacker is, you want that young linebacker to learn under him. So hopefully free agency is defense heavy and draft is offense heavy. Hopefully.
Yeah, because I think one of the things that Cowboys fans and people who covered and watched the team for years is they've lamented the fact that the Cowboys don't supplement what they do draft-wise, because they do draft for the most part pretty well, but they have not been able to really connect in free agency that allows them to find those veteran win now pieces to be able to help win when they need to. And I feel like I don't believe this whole all-in thing that Jerry Jones said, during the Senior Bowl. It sounds like Stephen Jones doesn't really believe in it either. Based on
hold on now, Jerry didn't say that. Now he didn't say we're going to do everything. Now hold on.
Well, look, if you believe Jerry, every year is an all-in year for Jerry at this point. Which I'm like, okay, Stephen, you really just told us you're not finna really do a damn thing. It feels like in free agency, but that's another conversation for another day. But the whole context of this is a team that's won 36 games over the last 3 seasons has got to, in this year, move forward deeper into the playoffs than they've ever been in nearly 3 decades. Otherwise, this franchise is going to look a lot different than what it did over the last 3 years of Mike McCarthy, and what that does for this franchise going forward from here. They have to find a way to get something going free agency-wise. Otherwise, what are we really doing here at this point?
I will say this about Mike McCarthy. If there's issues, he won't just sit on the issue. He will cut fat immediately. He will find the fix immediately. He will fire his friends. You know what I mean? He will, cause drama if he has to, right? Hey, I don't care. Get Kellen Moore about it. I don't care. So I will say it about Mike McCarthy. So if I'm right about Mike McCarthy, then he's looked at what we did. He said, hey, man, we got to run the football. We've got to be aggressive. We can't give up big points on defense. We have to be better on the road. So shouts out to my guy Will Steele. We always say this. This is really dirty macking season for a lot of these coaches. Mike McCarthy's on his last leg right now. And I hope that we give him every resource that we could possibly give a coach to be successful. But Belichick is probably sitting his year out. Some of these other coaches, maybe some college guys, some of these coordinators that could be head coaches that went back to their team for whatever reason. I think a lot of those dudes are just waiting on the Dallas job, and they just kind of dirty macking. Like, man, Jerry, why you even hired this character in the first place? Jerry, what's going on? Zimmer gonna be right in that office, like, hey, man, I never would have lost like that to Green Bay. Like it's dirty macking,
That's cold.
So,
it's a cold world.
It is what it is. So if I'm Mike McCarthy, just like if you're in a relationship and dirty Max and turtle dudes are just hanging around, like, hey, all right, let me just get you these Valentine's, whatever. I hate Valentine's, right? But you got Dirty Max in your ear. Let me just pay the extra money. Let me just take you out to eat. I haven't been looking at you for. Let me say something to make you smile because these I see these Dirty Max liking your posts. And Mike Zimmer texting Jerry, "What's up, big head?"
Exactly. He reached. Look, Mike McCarthy will say, "Look, I called Mike Zimmer. Like I wanted him. All right, okay, Mike, that's cool if you believe that. But come on, man. Like Zimmer coming to this team you could see that from 10 miles away that Mike Zimmer was going to be the guy to get this job. And look, familiarity breeds contempt, I guess."
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if I'm Mike, man, Mike needs to. Hey, I know y'all don't really want to spend no money, but I ain't trying to hear it. Hey, man, what you say on Set It Off? I need this money.
Okay.
Man, Mike's in a bind. You know what I'm saying? So let's get him what he needs, man. Let's get him what he needs.
Last thing before I get you out of here today, as you look at this draft in its entirety, the quarterbacks will always be the talk of the town. You got Caleb Williams, you got Drake May, you got Penix, you got Bo Nix, who's 100 years old, still finding his way to the NFL just now. Like, where are you with the 2024 NFL draft? Not just with the Cowboys, obviously, but what this draft has presented to you so far based on what you've been able to study and glean from this draft.
This is a great draft to rack up on the units that are harder to find. So offensive line, it's hard to find corner. It's hard to find good quarterback play. Wide receivers sometimes. I mean, wide receivers every year seem to be a trend, but like these true wide receiver one type guys, like this is the year to do it. Somebody asked me on my show the other day, Voch, you think because there's so many offensive linemen that teams will maybe not take an offensive line early, just take offensive line later? And I thought that was pure nonsense, right? Because offensive line sucks. Like people can't name me 5 offensive tackles that they just like in general, or guards or centers. So you don't get a whole bunch of center play. Like, all right, y'all, we got one Tyler Linderbaum that we like this year, one Creed Humphrey that we like this year, one John Michael Smith that we like this year. Well, there's 3 centers that we like this year. Most of the time we may get a total of 3 offensive tackles that we really like that'll go in the first round, maybe 4. There's like 7 or 8 this year. There's 3 quarterbacks that people seem to be top tier. I think there's 2 really, really top tier quarterbacks and like 4 good ones. Running back's always going to be fine if you just find those guys, but even wide receiver in years to where you may have a bunch of complimentary guys. Like last year was a year of the complimentary receiver, right? Like Jackson and Jigba was a complimentary guy. Jordan Addison was a complimentary dude to those guys. They're pure blood wide receiver ones this year.
Ooh, Marvin Harrison Jr., boy.
It's like, and I don't do player comparisons, right? So this isn't even like a direct comparison, but it's like if Julio Jones, Fitzgerald, and like Odell Beckham was in the same draft, like what would you do? Like you'll have a hard time picking them dudes out, figuring out, like those are 3 elite dudes. This isn't like a Henry Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy. All right, Ruggs run fast. Judy runs routes. Lamb is yak guy. Like they all just do one thing. Well, these are 3 elite dudes at wide receiver at the top of the draft. There are 5 elite offensive tackles at the top of the draft. So what's going to happen is there's going to be a run on elite offensive line. There's going to be a run on wide receiver and a run on those quarterbacks there. So if you're Cowboys, what's going to end up happening is if you don't get a chance to get one of those offensive linemen, you're going to get one of those outside looking in positions, right? I wasn't looking for corner. But how did cornerback 2 get here? Because all the wide receivers and offensive linemen and quarterbacks went early. I wasn't looking for a defensive tackle. I had the best defensive tackle get to 24. How did the best whatever get to 24? Well, because it got pushed down the board a little bit because all those other positions went really, really fast. So it's an interesting draft. Once again, I hate winning so much. But this you know what I'm saying? This is the only time of year where like I hate that we won so much, right? Like, if you don't win the Super Bowl, then you really just got a bad draft. You got a draft pick you don't like. We draft at 24, and all the mock drafts I'm looking at, like, man, my favorite dude is like 3 picks in front of us, and that happens every single year, right?
Don't let Keon Coleman fall to me though at 24 though. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, but Keon Coleman to be right there. But
that's gonna be real enticing.
but Cooper DeJean may also be there. Offensive tackle number 8, Armarius Mims, possibly. I mean, he may not be 8 on everybody's list, but hypothetically, he could be there. Offensive tackle, right? And you go, man, I wasn't looking for offensive tackle right now, but and I got Tyron Smith coming back, and I got Terrence Steele, and I wasn't really looking for tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Can I pass this up? Can I pass up this opportunity? And I think the Cowboys drafting at 24, they're going to be faced with many opportunities that they don't want to pass up. So it's going to be interesting to see. What I just don't want them to do is for there to be a top tier tackle on the board, and they pass up on him because they got like one player that they've had on their mind for a long time, and they just draft that dude. We all know they was drafting Van Der Esch a week ahead of time. We knew they were drafting Tristan Hill like a week ahead of time. We just hear, you listen to the radio, these podcasts, whenever Brian Broaders go, what do you guys think of Van Der Esch? That means he knows. That means, you know what I mean?
Like, pay attention, boys and girls. Pay attention.
Have you guys seen Tristan Hill, this UCF? Hey, have y'all seen him? When you start to hear questions like that,
about that Taco Charlton guy, you remember? You guys discussed that Taco Charlton guy.
You know what I'm saying? That means it's kind of put together already. I don't want them to have a put together. All right, y'all, we're drafting this dude and that's it. I don't want them to have that mindset, because whoever is at 24, it should be a top tier player there. There should be a gangster sitting right at 24. I'm at about 80 something players in or whatever. I'm like, man, it's many scenarios. I would love to trade back. If I could trade back and get Keon Coleman, like you say, let's go trade back and get Keon Coleman. Give us a true X receiver. Why don't we? Why not?
That's how you wind up with CeeDee Lamb. Just BPA, best player available. Hey, you can never go wrong there.
You never know, man. But then it's like, what's your favorite ice cream? What's your favorite wide receiver choice? You know what I'm saying? And you also have to ask yourself, hey man, do I just like Keon Coleman because I hate Michael Gallup right now? Like this question you got to ask. You have to look yourself in the mirror and ask.
Yes,
like,
you got to do real honest assessment about what you try to do here based on how you feeling going on right now.
But I don't hate it though. I don't hate it though.
And I don't hate it either, honestly.
And if we take care of our business and we attack free agency, Keon Coleman is a dude. Hey, 50-50 ball guy, big body dude, true X receiver, can move around the formation, yak guy, a power yak guy. See ball, get ball guy, like I powerful hands, soft hand. I don't see why that's a bad idea, but you never know who's there.
Voch, tell the folks they can find you, what you got going on, man.
I'm just here to show love. I don't even want to promo nothing, and if they want to find me, they can type in Voch. They know where to find me. They know how to VOCHLOMBARD.
Tell them people where they get your content, bro. Tell them where they get your stuff at, man.
Voch Lombardi on YouTube, Voch Lombardi on Twitter. Catch me on the Volume Sports and all their platforms, and catch me on the Gray Area Podcast, man. Appreciate it.
Voch, I appreciate the time as always, man. I feel ready now. I feel much better. I feel much more prepared now for the NFL draft. It took me a while to get to this place, but I'm finally there. I can finally okay, I can start talking about this. It took me a while. I'm not gonna lie. This season hurt. This past season hurt real bad. Yeah. And it took me a while to get to this place, but I think I'm here now. So I appreciate you getting me through this draft therapy to help me to get there now. Thank you so much.
Yeah, man, there's a point where we got to get out of our feelings and just move on to the next step. It took me a long time to get there, but I had to work because I got peers, you know what I'm saying? I got peers that expect things of me, you know what I mean? So I just couldn't sit around too long and let them win, you know what I'm saying? Just let them be that much ahead.
Who's trying to do that?
Yeah.
That is it for this episode of the Gray Area Podcast. Again, thanks to Voch Lombardi of the Volume Sports for joining me here on this episode. Make sure you download and subscribe to the Gray Area wherever you get your podcast for free. Give it a 5-star rating and write a review for it while you're there. And if you're watching this on my YouTube channel, make sure you like and comment on the video as well, and subscribe to Kevin Gray Sports on YouTube, and subscribe to Voch's channel on YouTube as well. You'll be better off for it. I'll be back on Friday with Reginald Atatula for Reds Fridays as we recap what was a wild kind of week all across sports as we get you ready for more of the NFL Combine. And we'll talk to you on Friday here on the Gray Area Podcast. I'll talk to you later. Peace.